Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's LaShonda Henry here, aka Sister Sense. Whoever you are, wherever you are, welcome inside the Sister Sense Sunday Circle. This is always our opportunity to, as a community, connect and reflect on this week as we prepare for the new one. This one is actually near and dear to me. This is actually our final Sunday Circle for the year. I have been here with y'all, rain, sleet, snow, dark, or shine, birds in the background and all, every single Sunday for the entirety of this year. And so, to be clear, I am super, super excited about what I've been able to do, but more importantly, what you've been able to think about and work through as we connected throughout the series of this year, going into the new year. So once again, thank you so much for joining me inside the Sunday Circle. Whether you joined our sessions live or had the opportunity to check in on the replays side. So as always, what I'm going to do is jump on over to our Sunday Circle brain dump document, the agenda. Every week what we do is I come on here and talk to you about the TP3, identifying your top priority 3 tasks for the year. As I like to say, always having something to share, something to sell, and something to say with your audience. Your irresistible offers, that's what you sell. Creating messages that make you money, that's what you say. And at least one piece of content that you're putting together to in some way create something for your audience, things that you share, right? So making sure that you are proactively putting some things out there on a week-by-week basis, setting your daily project and profit goals, setting your deadlines. These are things that I encourage you to do each week when I check in with you as part of the Sunday Circle. So let's talk about, scroll. Okay, so we literally, right, are hours away from putting this year to bed, okay? And last week I shared with you the TP3 plan. This is what we do when we transition from one month to another, when we transition from one quarter to another, and in this case, 1 year to another, right? Identifying the TP3. One reminder for me is encouraging my audience that this is still their year, right? When it comes to focus words, my focus words have been, finish this year strong, start the next year even stronger, right? And one of the things that I also do when it comes to focus words is I talk to you about having a word every year. And for me, I'm just going to pop that right in here. My word, my focus, my personal word for this year. Let me see if I can. It's doing it again. I don't know why. The Google Doc, for some reason, starts to act weird when I try to use it during a session. I don't know what goes on. My focus word for this year was when, and then, see, it's doing its own thing. I don't even know why. It's just doing strange things. Um, okay, so it's funny because when we started our sessions earlier on in the year, I used to real time edit the doc as we go, and then I started to transition to just editing it before we started the call because for some reason it would start to do some funky stuff. But anyway, I digress. So I always encourage you to think about if you have your own focus words that are going to kind of be a guiding light as you go through your year, right? And this year, for me, that word was win. And when I think about going into the new year, my focus word is elevate, right? So this is all about, can you identify a word for yourself that you're going to tether yourself to moving forward? One of the things that I say as part of Sister Sense is that your wins begin within, right? Your wins begin within you, within your abilities, within the things that you can do for yourself, and then your wins begin within your circle, within the people, the community that you surround yourself with, right? That's where your wins begin, in my opinion. And so thinking about, regardless of circumstance or situations, how I was really going to create an insular space where I was going to consistently win with my efforts, with my ingenuity, within my community. That was the focus for me when it came to this year in particular, right? And then going into the new year, my word is elevate. Taking the things that I have and then taking it up to another level, using the experience, using the efforts, using the skills, using the new forms of technology that I've had the opportunity to dig into this year going into the new year, right? So you can think about those words, but of course my goal is that you identify one for yourself and you declare it with your community, right? Take this opportunity to share your new year, new you word, number one. Number two, outside of friendly reminders and focus words, I also think about different projects that I've personally identified as my focus, a part of my agenda going into the new year. We did that inside of our annual planning sessions this year, and we're going to continue to talk about that going into the next couple of weeks. One thing I'm excited to integrate into the Sister Sense Circle is the 12-week year. It's an interesting book that I purchased actually last year, but it's something that people talk about this time every year as the author, Brian Moran, breaks down how to do in 12 weeks what most people can't do in 12 months, right? How to just really work on your productivity, your focus, setting and reaching your goals during a finite period of time. So inspired by the 12-week year, I'm actually preparing to share some methodologies and some conversations around that within my community, really to intentionally help my clients and mentees and you all essentially get clear about what you want to accomplish quarter by quarter. Think about your bigger annual goal, breaking it down into quarterly goals, and then realistically working towards those each quarter. That's going to be a big part of our agenda. And then, of course, outside of that, thinking about other projects, either new projects you want to start or projects you touched on this year that you want to continue and roll over into the new year. These are some of the things that I wanted to encourage you to do when we spoke last session around the TP3, right? Identifying your priority tasks. Now, this is just kind of me giving you a little review as far as what we talked about last week, getting ready for your new quarter, new month, new year goals, getting clear about those things you want to start, continue, or finish, create, update, or designate more time to focus on. I'm super excited about touching on the 12-week year. And then just kind of helping people get even clearer about their goals and their agendas going into the new year. These are just a few things that I'm doing, and I want you to think about those things that you want to intentionally work on as well, okay? So next thing that I'm going to do is mosey on over to the meat and potatoes of our week-by-week agenda, which is prepping your plan. Like, what's the plan for the new week? What's the plan for the new year? When it comes to the TP3, in a notebook, in a Google Doc, you're sitting down and you're thinking about three things. What are those offers you want to create? What are the messages you're planning to put out there? And what is the content you're going to produce and share? 1, 2, and 3. Now, when we go into this, I always ask you one simple question. This week, are you going to be in production mode, or are you going to be in pitch mode? So I've been relatively quiet at the end of the year because when I'm taking a break, everybody needs to take a break, right? But it's the holiday season. And so I've been sharing gifts, and I've been just a few messages here and there, at least one, right? I always say if you can't do, one a day or, a couple of times a day, at least a few check-in communications is something that I encourage you to do, right? But when you're doing those things and you're thinking about offers, are you in a place where you're literally producing offers, you're making them, producing them, or you're making an offer to individuals or groups, you're pitching your offer to them? So pitch versus production. What have you been doing this week versus going into the new week? I've mainly been quietly pitching, right? Just kind of saying, here, again, friendly reminder, here are some gifts, here are some resources, here are some of the things that I'm doing at the end of the new year, the end of the year. Here are some things you can take advantage of as we go into the new year. Take what you need, right? Mainly in pitch mode. Where are you? When it comes to right now, for me, the focus is still the C's. People working with me privately, scheduling and signing up, investing into one-on-one calls with me sharing those things that I have available as end-of-year closeouts. Of course, my end-of-year closeouts will officially end today. And then the classes, kits, and bundles that I've put together to support my clients going into the new year. I always love to have bundles that I either can offer for the end of the year versus the new year, right? And as I mentioned to you before, outside of those classes, the closeouts, and ultimately the kits and bundles that I've put together, right? My main focus is always looking at two groups. The people who want DIY, like they're like, listen, I'm ready, set it, forget it, LaShonda, because once you give it to me, I'm off to the races. I just need you to give it to me. Give me the content, and I'll make it do what it do, right? So creating those DIY experiences, number one. But then number two, those clients who are looking for more hand-holding, more support, the done with you or the done for you. These are the kinds of people that I work on creating content around. So it's like the same content, but for different audiences, right? And that's something important for you to think about as well. Where you don't feel like you have to stretch yourself and do 15 different types of jobs. How can you take your current skill sets and just present them to different audiences? Some people want to just be able to consume your content and work through it on their own. Some people need done with you coaching, support. Some people need you to just do it for them, and they don't got time for all that. They'll pay you to just do it for them, right? Who are you reaching? How are you reaching them? These are the audiences that I talk about consistently. And as a matter of fact, if you want some clarity around that, just write the 4 of them down that I oftentimes will talk about. Which target audiences are you looking to either pitch to or produce an offer for, right? DIY, do-it-yourself people, number 1. DWI, done with you. Done with you, like coaching, consulting, things of that nature, right? Done with you courses where you have a group of people and you have a project and you do it with them, right? Done for you, just as the name suggests, you do it for them, so it's like a service, right? I have category for me, number 4, I think about BLY as well. Where people say, okay, LaShonda, you know what, seriously, real talk, I want to be like you when I grow up. Those people who want to be like me, I offer direct access to me so they can sit down and get coaching or mentorship directly from me, right? So those are, for me, BLY, DIY, DWY, and DFY. Those are the 4 core target audiences that I'm constantly creating offers for, right? That I'm creating. Had to pause for a second. That I'm pitching to or producing content for, and I want you to explore where you fall when it comes to pitch versus production and those 4 target groups. Okay? So, your messages. This year in particular, I'm going to spend a lot of time going into what it takes to work on your reach, what it takes to work on your community, and what it takes to work on your goals on a quarter-by-quarter basis. So these are some of the things that are a part of the messaging that I will be putting out on a week-by-week basis inside of the Citizen Circle, right? What are the messages that are important to you, right, that you will be branding and discussing for to your audience, right? One of my branded, and branding is the key, okay? The 12-week year, that is Brian Moran and his team. That is his concept. I am sharing some of the methodologies inspired by his concept, but in my own way. Every year, I talk about how to maintain your momentum. I have the Maintain Your Momentum series. I have a summit. I even have my Maintain Your Momentum workbook plus mid-year conference, right? Mid-year workshop. With that being said, for me, I've put together a special edition of Maintain Your Momentum that has a 12-week plan. It's inspired by the 12-week year, but it's my branded Maintain Your Momentum series with the elements that I often talk about when it comes to your revenue, your reach, and your routines, and specific things that you could do over the course of a 12-week period, right? So thinking about those messages that matter to you and how you're going to brand them, make them unique to your business, to your message, to your voice, these are the things that I want you to think about as well, okay? And outside of those messages that you're going to brand and put out and share with your audience overall, the individual conversations, right, the personalized messages, the follow-ups, the inquiries, the check-ins, who do you need to reach out to, who's reaching out to you, these are the things that you need to keep in mind, right? I am like on the last leg of Vlogmas, 31 days of daily vlogs. I saw a comment just come in last night of, I want to say her name was Dr. Venus, but I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember. I just kind of saw it in passing. It was late last night. And the comment was something to the effect of, oh, my gosh, this is so great. I need to start following you again. And that's lovely. I love that this Vlogmas series has stretched me as far as creating content in a different way that I've done for a very long time. That I challenged myself to consistently create this kind of video-based content on a day-by-day basis. I'm not quite done yet because I still got to do today's recording plus edit yesterday's recording, right? And it's created an opportunity for me to consistently stay connected to the people who are watching, reconnect with people who perhaps haven't seen or been in my circle for a while, and be exposed to new people who are now following me, whether it be on TikTok or Reels or on the YouTube platform, right? And so you've got to think about that as well. Beyond your offers and your messages, what are you going to do to commit yourself to creating content? Now, on the topic of content, I will say this. Vlogmas is obviously ending, right? I'm just, a few hours away from wrapping up the last of it for today. But I do want to continue creating vlogs, and I'm thinking going into the new year, perhaps once a week versus once a day, but making it a part of my regular routine is something that I think I'm going to want to do moving forward, number one. Um, Number two, also when it comes to the content conversations and just where are you going to show up and how are you going to show up? The Sunday Circle we have done every Sunday for over a year since last year at 6 a.m. EST. Moving into the new year, I am going to, at least for the first quarter, I'm going to transition into a monthly Sunday Circle in the evening versus a weekly Sunday Circle in the morning. So I want to try out that as well. Now, obviously, that's going to reduce the number of sessions that I do as far as the Sunday Circle is concerned, right? But I also want to create a space where more ladies have the opportunity to participate live and think about quantity versus quality, right? There are things that we sometimes do, and then we get into the routine of doing them, and then we don't want to break the routine because we're like, but this is how I always do it. Just because that's how you always do it doesn't mean that's how you always have to continue doing it, right? I want to create a space where I find the best Sunday Circle balance that's going to work for me and then does work for the community, right? If some people are like, listen, I listen to the replays, but girl, I can't get up at 6 a.m. Or, I'm in church or, I've got different things going on in the morning. Let me try the evening. And if it means that we do really one powerhouse Sunday Circle session a month versus 4 early morning Sunday Circles where maybe you can make it, maybe you can't, I've got to find the right balance. I've got to find the right fit, right? It's not going to work if it's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? So I think I've learned a lot about doing the Sunday Circle the way I've done it, and I wanted to commit myself to showing up the way I've shown up for a year. And I always do that. To be clear, I always create these micro challenges for myself, and I commit to them, whether it be 30 days, 90 days, or even 365 days, because that's how you get better. That's how you master. You have to commit yourself to things. Excuse me. As a matter of fact, one of the Vlogmas videos that I did, I think it was last week, was called Commit versus Cancel. And going into the new year, you got to think about for yourself, what are the things that you're going to cancel and eliminate, get rid of in some way, versus what are those things that you're going to commit to so that you get better at doing the things that you need to do. Showing up for you, showing up for your community, all the things. Get a notebook, a piece of paper, put 2 columns, commit, write those down, cancel, write those down, make it work, right? Make it work. So that's something that I want you to think about as well. Let me check something real quick. Quick power pause, and I'll come right back to it. Okay? So just a few things that I want you to consider when it comes to your content, your messaging, and your offers. Okay? So I'm still going to continue pretty much to work on new templates, work on creating more video content. I won't be doing daily vlogs. I'll probably do weekly vlogs and then do monthly Sunday Circle. We always have weekly webinars as part of the mastermind, and just kind of continue to work on those things moving into the new year. What are the things that you are going to work on? What are the things that you're going to get better at, okay? So I'm excited because I have quite a few new templates that I've created, and that I'm going to be sharing, and I want to be able to just commit myself to showing up the way that I'm trying to best that I can for the tribe, okay? So think about those things for yourself, your offers, your messages, and your content. Do you want to lean towards more videos? Do you want to focus on maybe blogging or writing more? One of the ladies in my circle, she was like, LaShonda, I'm going to launch my podcast in the second quarter of the year. So getting ready to actually record the content and release it for the second quarter. These are the things that we're talking about and that she's working on right now. Just getting clear about what you want to produce and when you're going to release those things. That, to me, should be a key part of your agenda, okay? So now that we've talked about the meat and potatoes of today, as always, what I'm going to do is to keep on rolling through our week-by-week agenda. How many pages is this thing? I always say it's crazy how much content we've gone over all these weeks. All right, number 5. Okay. So, as we do every week, now that we've talked about the TP3 of it all and prepping your plans for the coming week, thinking about what you've done versus what you want to do, how are you going to position yourself to profit? What are you going to sell this coming week? If you are going to sell, what are your sales goals for this coming week? I am so excited about the 12-week plan that I'm dropping on you guys. We're literally going to start working on it this week and being able to help you with the 3 R's, your revenue, your reach, and your routines. We're going to dig into that on a deeper level. So taking some of these things that we do every Sunday, incorporating it into our day-by-day, week-by-week conversations on a deeper level. I'm super excited about that. But before we get into those things and I jump too further ahead into the future, thinking about your revenue goals, number 1, and your reach goals, number 2. What I plan to do, because I'm dropping the new year calendar pretty much in a few hours. The new year calendar is done. It's ready for you guys. The Sunday Circle, like I said, is going to be a monthly evening session versus weekly morning session, number 1. And then for the first quarter, we are going to do the Reach Project and intentionally work on your reach and building your audience over a 12-week period. We're going to be doing that on Thursdays. So thinking about who you want to reach and how you plan to reach them this week, that's important, right? I've been able to reach people through my micro, and I shouldn't say micro because when I think micro videos, I think videos that are just a couple of seconds, if not a few minutes. What I've been doing is more short form videos. They're anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes in length. That's what I've been doing for Vlogmas. But continuing to do those has helped me to reach people, and then going and tapping into a few other avenues that we're going to explore throughout the Reach Project over the next couple of weeks. We're going to touch on that as well. But you, for now, just thinking about for yourself who you want to reach and how you plan to reach these people is important, right? Literally, one of my business besties reached out to me and called me yesterday, and we were kikiing with, I was kikiing with the one and only Rochelle Shaw for a good hot minute. It's been a while since we had one of those sessions, so it was definitely much needed. But whether it be directly reaching out and calling some people you need to call, sending out emails, doing videos, creating a blog or a podcast, saying, you know what, I definitely want to do some interviews, getting your PR marketing on. What are you doing to reach people and build your audience? Starting with the things that you know how to do, and then tapping into research and other people around you who can help you with brand exposure. Those are the things that you need to keep in mind. And then last but not least, I find it's important for you to get better at creating better routines, right? This challenge, me challenging myself for every single week, wherever I was, whatever I was doing, to jump on here with y'all at 6 a.m. EST, baby, that was a routine for me, right? You have to get better at creating your routines. So when it comes to your revenue and your reach, what are you going to do this week? Either daily, bi-weekly, or weekly, once a week, to move the needle on your goals. Nothing changes if nothing changes. We, in the blink of an eye, literally go from January 1st to December 31st in the blink of an eye, and nothing changes. Trust me, if nothing changes. So you've got to think about not just these things that you're going to do when you could squeeze it in. I always say you cannot find the time. You have to make the time, which is why the routines for me are key, right? What tasks, what challenges, what tasks and what deadlines are you going to incorporate into your coming week? But then, let's think about it on a deeper picture, a bigger level into the new year, okay? So we're jumping into it. My version of the 12-week year is the Momentum 12-week series, and we're going to dig into that literally this week. So look out and get excited, because it's time. It's time. Number 6, I always say to you, don't get overwhelmed by all the things that you want to do. Compartmentalize. Make it make sense for you, because if it doesn't make sense, it ain't happening. If it's overwhelming and the things on your agenda do not make sense, they are not happening. So the TP3 plus the Eisenhower matrix for me is simply brain dumping everything that you want to do. And hopefully, as we've been talking today, you've had an opportunity to think about the things you want to accomplish, right, going into the new week or the new year. Then you break those things down into 4 compartments. The things you want to do now that are urgent and important, compartment 1. Number 2, the things you decide to schedule, because while they are not urgent, they're still important. So you're going to schedule them for some time in the near future. Then I was just going to say compartment, quadrant. They're one of those. Quadrant, compartment, number 4. That's where you put the things that you're going to delegate. You're going to say, hey, you, and you, I need you to do this for me. Those tasks that you give to other people, because while they are urgent, they're not important in the sense that you have to be the one that does it. Somebody else can do it for you, okay? You can take it off your plate, right? And then delete those things that are neither urgent or important. There you go. Bim, bam, boom. 4 quadrants, 4 ways to compartmentalize and identify those tasks that you're going to do, decide, delegate, or delete using the TP3 methodology from yours truly, plus the famous Eisenhower matrix. Last but not least, as we are wrapping up today, I always like to say it's time to take action. I always tell y'all there are 2 types of people in this world. AT people, to be exact. Active talkers and action takers. I literally, if you want to know some of my pet peeves, one of my biggest pet peeves is active talkers. Oh, girl, I coulda, I woulda, I was gonna. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear what you was gonna, coulda, shoulda, done, or what. I want to see what you put into fruition. People don't judge you by what you say you're going to do. They judge you by what you do. A lot of times people say, listen, and one thing I can say about you, LaShonda, is, girl, you consistent. You've been on this thing forever. You've been riding these entrepreneurial wheels and these digital streets till the wheels fall off. You know what I'm saying? How are you going to show up? How are you going to take action? First, we always have to explore where you need to tackle your resistance. Challenges, fears, misconceptions. And to be honest with you, while I never necessarily added that to this particular category, for me, changes. I said to you, I'm going to be making changes to the circle. I'm going to be making changes to, as opposed to us doing our Sunday circle every single Sunday at 6 a.m. We're going to try once a month in the evening versus the morning. And sometimes you have to stop, assess what you're doing, and not just blindly keep doing the same things just for the sake of doing those things. Where is it necessary for you to change, for you to pivot, right? Especially when it comes to the new year, new you conversation. Actually, that was the topic for one of my last blogs this week. New year, new you, new money too, plus new Walmart look. I don't know if you've seen in your area the Walmarts, but in my area, they are quickly leveling up to where they have these staged areas. Have you guys seen this? In my video, I was recording the Walmart that I was in, where literally they'll show you a room, kind of think like IKEA. I feel like they're trying to level up to Target, but also when you walk around IKEA, you see a lot of staged sections. They'll show you this is what your bedroom could look like. This is what your living room could look like. I recorded areas where there was a little a love seat with a bookcase and a table. I was like, go ahead, Walmart. There was another stage section where they're this is what your kitchen could look like. Or, they have the staged mannequins. They have a whole Reebok section with, black screens, videos. I'm just like, am I in, what is that store? Am I in Foot Locker, right now? Just leveling up. And one of the points that was actually one of my favorite videos I did this week. One of my points in that video is, if this multi-million, multi-billion, whatever, right? This big behind company bringing in consistent money is doing things to elevate, right? Because remember I said every year you got to have a focus word. My year, this word was win. Next year, my word for the year is elevate. If they're doing new things, they're elevating, they're changing things around, what about you, right? What about you? They, in my opinion, I don't think they need to, but that's not for me to say. I don't know their books. I don't know their plans. I don't know their agenda. I don't know the scale that they're trying to grow. You cannot die out like the dinosaurs. You cannot become extinct before you have flourished into the person and created the business you want. You have to elevate. You have to evolve. That's what they're doing, right? Whether you like them or hate them, I think it's interesting, the layouts and the things that they're doing, and you've got to be mindful of what you can do as well to elevate you and your business brand too. So challenges, fears, misconceptions, or changes, right? I want to add it, but then I don't want the system to act funky on me. Let's see. And let me put it in there, right? Where do you need to tackle your personal resistance, right? Nothing changes if nothing changes, right? Where do you need to make changes? Get your ask in gear. Who do you need to ask? What do you need to ask? These are things that I want you to think about. One of the things that ladies have consistently been asking me is about card decks. LaShonda, I want to create a card deck. I want to create a card deck. I mean, not like a minute. I mean, not like the last 2 months. I mean, for several years. Ladies have reached out to me, and I'm like, oh, you can use this platform or that platform, but that's pretty much where the buck stops. Integrated card decks as a new POD, print-on-demand product that we work on inside the circle. That's something that I started this past month. We started off with digital printable decks, or rather digital printable cards, which is slightly different than card decks. Producing a physical card deck is different from printable cards, but I am working on releasing that new series and excited about where that is going to take me as far as new changes and new products and new print-on-demand offerings and trainings that I do going into the new year, similar to the 12-week year, and integrating some of that methodology into what I teach as part of the circle as well. These are some of the new things that I have on the horizons, right, based on things that people have asked me for, or they've been asking themselves, how can I get better at setting my goals? How can I get better at creating these different types of branded merchandise products? How can I get better at expanding my brand, making more money, having new offers? Answering my own personal questions, answering the questions that people have directly asked me. These are the kind of things that I want you to think about when it comes to ASK, getting your ASK, getting your ask in gear, right? And of course, to be clear, maintaining your momentum. High energy time blocks that you set aside once a week, a couple times a month, a quarter, where you do what you need to do. Where you do what you need to do when it comes to creating a space to prepare, to brainstorm, to execute your next best plan of action, right? My calendars, baby, they work really well for me. The new Maintain Your Momentum calendar literally drops very soon. That's the kickoff of the year. I did the Maintain Your Momentum mid-year planner, and now I have the Maintain Your Momentum 12-week planner that I'll be dropping on you guys. This is for me work. This is the work coming into fruition. The things that you plan to put out, working on releasing those things, and either taking advantage of calendars and planners that you can work for you, but to be honest with you, creating your own, right? Creating your own planners or calendars that are going to help you do the things that you need to do, right? So where do you find that you need support to stay on track, to be intentional? I had my eye exam. I had an eye exam this week, and in my reminders app, I swear by the reminders app on my phone. It was like, don't forget, you got an eye exam. Don't forget, you got to da-da-da-da. Just kind of having whatever support you need virtually, accountability, your community, your mentors, your coach, your partners, your besties that are going to help you stay the course and do what you need to do. Because if you don't have those systems and if you don't have that support around you, let's go back to what I just said a few minutes ago. Nothing changes if nothing changes, right? Sunday well spent brings a week full of content. Creating this quiet time, at least 60 minutes to 3 hours plus, to intentionally work on the things that you need to do. Those are just some things that I encourage you to do. I got to say thank you to all of you who have popped in on one level, whether it be once a week or every couple of weeks, live or on the replay side. Definitely a special thanks to my Sunday Circle besties, Miss Afi, Miss Lavon. I tell you, my OGs, my business besties, they ride or die with me. They're like, I'm going to open up this one eye. I'm going to open up this one eyeball. I'm going to snuggle underneath the covers and be here for Sunday Circle. And I appreciate you guys for that. Where 2 or 3, if you a spiritual entrepreneur like me, you know where 2 or 3 are gathered in his name. Amen. And those of you listening on the replay side, I appreciate you too. I may not be able to see you, literally hear you, or laugh with you, but energetically I'm connected to you because my goal is to show up And I encourage you to do that for yourself and for your community too. Remember, my focus word this year was win. And as far as I'm concerned, I won. I am still here. I have survived. I have thrived. I have seen people come, and unfortunately, in this economy, I've seen a lot of people grow. I am blessed to still be here. I am thankful I have the opportunity to share. I am grateful for all of you out there who come up and come through and check in with me, because that's what we do here in the Sister Sense Circle community, and I'm going to continue to do that going into the new year for as long as I got breath. For as long as I've got breath and energy inside of me, I'm going to continue to show up and help you create your amazing. So, thank y'all once again so much for joining the Sister Sense Sunday Circle this entirety of this year. We got so much more amazing coming up in the new year. Listen out for pop-ups and workshops on the calendar. I got some more to share. Till then, once again, take care.